My name is Emily DeLuca.
My name is Madison Brandt.
My name is Ian Vanderoost.
My name is Sushana Chase.
My name is Daniel Murray.
My name is Anna Payne.
My name is Sophie Markham.
My name is Nick Sparks.
My name is Jillian Agello.
My name is Connor Fisher.
My name is Sydney Peacock.
My name is Fisher Bryant.
My name is Reese McCoyne.
My name is Emilia Dancy.
My biggest struggle was probably going through the application process for college with senior year, just like making sure to stay in the moment. And I did have some friendship struggles this year as well.
My biggest struggle this year was grief. I dealt with a lot of loss this year. My childhood pet died at the beginning of this year, and a lot of friend losses. So just trying to get over that and know that there's a reason for everything and that I will end up where I'm supposed to end up.
One of my biggest struggles this year was my work ethic and my ability to time manage all of the work that I had been put up with throughout my school year.
I would say that my biggest struggle was definitely dealing with the divorce of my parents. Like, my family life was very chaotic, especially with coming out of school and not being in in-person school and having to deal with my parents fighting constantly and being the oldest sibling. You know, being that rock foundation for my siblings was definitely something that was very hard to deal with.
My biggest struggle this year was definitely showing the love of God and sharing the gospel with everybody I can.
My biggest struggle this year was probably feeling like I had to fit in and I had to make myself known. It's more important if they see the Lord through you and through your story. And if they can feel the Lord's presence or his love or his caring or his support through you even a little bit, that's so much more important than like knowing your name.
This year, my biggest struggle was going through the breakdown of relationship ending with my dad and just losing a strong relationship and bond that I did have with him, as well as the reoccurring decline in my sister's health and just trying to also maintain my relationship with God.
Earlier in the school year, I did not have a relationship with God. I'd never really had a true connection with him. About 2 months into my senior year, my friends Chris and Daniel invited me to a Bible study, and that's when I really started to gain a deeper connection with God.
My biggest struggle this year, just as a senior, was definitely figuring out what my next steps were going to be and trusting that God had it all planned out. I struggled with a lot of anxiety about where I was going to go to school and what I was going to major in, and it took a lot of prayer and a lot of time to trust that God has this plan all worked out for me, and he led me to find an amazing group of roommates, and I'm going to an amazing school that I'm so excited to attend.
My biggest struggle this year was reading my Bible. I didn't start reading my Bible until about 2 months ago, and everyone says it changes your life, but when I truly tell you it changes my life, it changes the way I see things and the way my mind was thinking. It also changed my heart and all my desires in life.
My biggest struggle this year was ultimately trusting that God has full reign over my life and that his plan is perfect, even when my plans for my own life are not. I got rejected from a college that I thought I was going to end up at, and it was really frustrating and heartbreaking, but at the end of the day, just being able to know that I'm going to end up where I need to be and God's plan will prevail overall.
My biggest struggle this year was trying to stay focused with college prep and just getting to a full picture of what my future is going to look like. And God helping me through that just helped me realize it's not that big a deal. I really focused on him and I prayed about it, and it helped me realize it's just right in front of me. I don't need to worry about it too much, and it's just going to form itself as time goes.
I think my biggest struggle this year was probably losing friendships. I had a lot of tough conversations because I really wanted to pursue Jesus, and some of my closest friends wanted other things, and we were just going down different paths.
My biggest struggle this year was dealing with my anxiety, depression, and chronic pain condition. It's been difficult to manage, and traditional and modern medicine haven't really helped me. My condition makes it difficult to do day-to-day activities, and overall, it's been really discouraging for me. It's left me feeling very hopeless.
My biggest prayer
was to stay in the moment and make every single second count of this year. This year, I really just wanted to it sounds funny, but stay off my phone, just completely find every opportunity in school, go to football games, go to homecoming, go to all the different things, theater performances, all that, and just make every single second count because I know that it's my last year, so I don't want to miss anything.
My biggest prayer this year was the strength to forgive and have patience. Just with people, it's hard to forgive, especially at this time of year. It's hard when you're this old. It's I just want to burn these bridges and just move on with my life. And then there's the other side of you where it's Jesus would forgive. Ask what would Jesus do? And I prayed harder. I prayed to love others. This year I really fought to give people other chances because I know I want other people to give me chances too because we all mess up. We're all human. We're not perfect. So just forgive others.
One of my biggest prayers this year was definitely for God to keep me on his path and show me his path for me and keep me on it. Just always praying about that and always asking him that he lead me on his way.
My biggest prayer was definitely finding friends that loved me unconditionally and that were centered on the Lord. Finding friends is something that I've always kind of struggled with in terms of just high school, and finding people that genuinely care about me and are genuine and love me for who I am, exactly where I am.
Definitely to be more like God and live more like him and just show everybody that I can be more like Jesus.
My biggest prayer this year was being confident in the talents and the characteristics that the Lord has given me and not what the world puts on me, knowing that what the Lord says about me is so much more important, and the words that he says, and the things that he calls me are so uplifting and filled with truth and love, and making that who I am and who I put my worth in, not what other people say.
My biggest prayer this year was for the restoration of my relationship with my dad. Also, a lot of prayers for my sister's health to be renewed and just for her to be lifted back up again, and that she can just be, the weight of all the illness can be lifted off of her and the light can shine back through her that once did. I just say that I've been praying for years now for my sister's health to get better and for her to heal. Every week I just get more news and it just seems like things are just getting worse. But I know that I know he's listening and I know he has a plan. So I'm just sticking to that and I'm just trusting in his plan.
My biggest prayer was literally after that second Bible study, I was I can definitely feel a bigger, deeper connection. So my biggest prayer was to actually ask God for a deeper connection, for him to give me opportunities to gain that connection with him and just be closer with him.
My biggest prayer is similar to what my biggest struggle was. I just prayed for guidance, and I had to pray for guidance in a lot of areas, not only next steps, but also just what people I should keep in my life or shouldn't keep in my life, and also just making sure that every relationship in my life is fulfilling me and that I'm exploring the things I'm passionate about and also making plenty of time for God.
My biggest prayer this year was getting closer to my brother. Me and him haven't really been tight over the past 18 years of brotherhood, and it just really, when I prayed to God, he just really gave me that boldness to really get him and teach him the gospel, and as well as getting closer to him.
My biggest prayer this year was finding really strong community. It's been really hard for me over the past couple years to have Christ-centered friendships, and so coming into senior year, I really wanted to build really strong friendships with people who know Jesus well and who will challenge me and push me towards him.
My biggest prayer this year was that more people would attend Wake and more people would be able to witness how Jesus can change their lives. And I feel like that has been answered this year, because this past year has just been amazing, and I've seen so many new faces, I've met so many new people, I've connected deeper into the church, and it's just been an amazing experience.
My biggest prayer this year was probably for guidance and clarity from the Lord, because, going through senior year, there's so many plans that you have to figure out, and it's so heavy. So trying to figure out where I'm going to college and everything. I just needed a lot of guidance, and along with like my friendships and just what I needed to prioritize in my life, I just needed a lot of clarity with that, and just what the Lord had for me in store next.
My biggest prayer over this past year was to get healing from God, both mentally and physically. And so I came to Wake back in August, hoping for some sort of healing. Because I've dealt with problems for so long, it's been hard for me to be patient, and it's been hard for me to keep waiting for my prayer to be answered by God. And so that whole waiting process has been hard for me, but I know it's worth it, and I know that God is able to move in tremendous ways. And so slowly, he's been making little ways that have been positive changes for my mental and physical health.
My favorite moment at Wake was at Pause 2024, and it was the last night, and it was specifically the worship session. And I hadn't cried that hard, like that entire year. Like I had not cried that hard in a long time. And just being just with all my friends that I had met that weekend, it was amazing. The worship, like I just felt the Lord like in the room that night. It was amazing.
So I've only been going to Wake since February, but honestly my best moment was the first night I came. It was my best friend's baptism, Jillian. I kind of wrote off being a part of a child ministry. I grew up in another church, and their high school ministry didn't work out for me. So just to be a part of a genuine, loving community and realizing, oh my gosh, like there are other high schoolers that want to go to church, not just for social reasons, and like really just live in God's presence and seeing that, hey, there are people like you that just want to worship God and go to church to worship God. And that's hard to find. So just realizing I found those people that night, I had like a moment like, hey, I found these people that I can walk through this journey with God with.
My favorite moment at Wake during the time I've been a part of it was definitely the first night that I felt connected with God. The lesson that night had perfectly matched up with the situation that had been brought upon me at that time.
I definitely would have to say that one of my favorite moments was definitely baptizing my best friend. That was just such a full circle moment, and we've been friends since my freshman year of high school, and just getting to see her grow closer in her faith was just something that was really, really, really cool. Also, I got to lead a worship night for Wake Week that we had leading up to Easter, and I just thought that was so cool being to lead a room of middle and high school students to know Jesus better through worship.
I've really loved the worship. I love passionate worship, and that's all it is here. So I love coming to Wake every week and just listening and singing to passionate worship.
My favorite moment at Wake is probably Jake Birnbaum's My Yearbook last year. It really made me feel like there was a place for me at Stone Creek, and I felt that my story wasn't so crazy that the Lord couldn't move in my life. And I found a comfort and like a home in people who had similar stories to me and people who were comfortable enough to share them. And that really just inspired my boldness and made me feel like I could totally find a home at Stone Creek and that the Lord wasn't finished with my story.
My favorite moment at Wake throughout the years has to be this past Pause, and just to see all of the students kneeling down in reverence at the feet of God is just truly remarkable, and something that it touches my heart. And for us all to like all the students to just have connected on a deeper level, like with our faith as the base, it was really nice, and a lot of relationships strengthened through that. And then the peak of it was just afterwards, all of the baptisms, the numerous baptisms that resulted in the retreat it was so amazing and moving to see, and just to be a part of it all.
I probably have to say my favorite moment was probably Pause. It was a fun weekend, and I really enjoyed myself. I'd been to Woodlands in the past, and I'd kind of just like, oh, okay, it's just another morning or another evening at chapel. But at Pause, I really started to like get into the messages and like write notes down about them and all of that. And I really started to feel myself like actually gaining the like real understanding of all the messages that they were saying.
Definitely Pause 2024 was an amazing time. It was the first church retreat I've ever been on. And on the first night after Sean's message, and we did the first night of worship, it was really unlike anything I'd ever experienced. And it was that night that I asked Shoshana to baptize me. So that night is really, really special to me.
My favorite moment at Wake is when I came back this year in September, and I hadn't been awake in over 4 years. And when I saw Chris, when I walked into that small group, it just like lit up something inside me that, you know, God was in this building, and that Chris was here for a reason.
My favorite time at Wake was during Pause this year, during the late night worship in the auditorium. It was so special just hearing everybody praising the Lord and feeling that sense of community that I had been praying for. It was really special. And just knowing that the Lord has been in all of this since the very beginning, it was really comforting.
My favorite time at Wake was earlier this year when it kind of stemmed into last year when I met Joseph, who is a freshman, and me and him really connected really deeply. I started like reading the Bible with him, and we started hanging out more, and it ended up for him asking me if I wanted to baptize him, and it was so fun to get to be able to lead him through that and just pray for him and just experience life with him. It strengthened me, and it just helped me realize like something like that, and getting to see somebody else go through that firsthand and seeing that you helped them, it just exploded my faith. Like I was like, oh my gosh, this, like, there's no way this isn't real. And on the baptism day, we just had an amazing time. It was like a giant party.
My favorite moment at Wake was about a year ago. I was sitting in the auditorium listening to Sean speak, and he was talking about baptisms and like what that really means and what the importance of it is, and just like really diving deep into it and not just like surface level. And I just remember like the Lord speaking over me like, Reese, you need to get baptized. Like he's talking to you right now. And so I was like, okay, like I hear that, like I'm gonna get baptized. And so I remember like telling my friends, like, guys, I'm getting baptized, like I'm doing it. And it was just such an exciting moment because it really changed like everything for me.
My favorite memory in Wake was back in January when I got baptized. And I got up on stage and I gave my testimony, and I was just a nervous mess. And then, of course, you know, I went down and I got baptized, and we were worshiping while I was waiting. And my small group leader, she was the one who baptized me. And I remember how sweet her prayer was, and it was just so heartwarming. And then once I got baptized, I remember getting up and looking down and seeing all of my girls from my small group. And immediately after I came down, it was just hug after I love you, I'm so proud of you. And you know, the confetti was in the air, everybody was worshiping. And it was in that moment when I realized that this was the most loved I have ever felt. After that, I stood there soaking wet in my wet clothes, and I just worshiped my heart out, and it was just the best feeling.
I've seen God move in my life in friendships, in deciding where I'm going to go to college. I think going back to the other question about how, like, what was my biggest struggle, and seeing how God has, like, transformed, like, that struggle. Because especially with college choices, the school that I really wanted to go to, I didn't get into. But knowing that it's, like, God's perfect plan for me. At the beginning of the year, I was definitely stressed. And I think, obviously, it was just because of my senior year, just all of the college applications, all of that. And I really just felt like I was going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And now I just feel like I can take a breath and everything is like settled and God's got me.
God has taken people out of my life and placed them in my life. And at first, I didn't see why. I didn't really view it from that perspective. And now I see why he did it and see how powerful how much of an impact it's had on my life. And it's made my life more positive. It's taken out all the negative that I thought was fun. And it was only fun for a minute. And it really helped me see the difference between happiness and joy. And happiness comes from, earthly things, and joy really comes from within and from God. And I never really got to experience that until he took these people out of my life and put these new godly people in my life.
I've seen God move the most in my life over the past year by just in general getting closer to him. Recently, he's been the only person I feel like I can go to and talk about my situations and emotions with.
He's definitely opened my heart to just so many different opportunities, especially leading worship. It's something that I get to do so frequently now, and I'm just really grateful for how he's moved in my heart in that way, and just showing me his unconditional love even through the hard times and the trials. I'm just constantly reminded that he never runs away and he's always going to be there.
I've really been praying for community ever since summer, because I didn't really have any community that was pushing me towards God, and I definitely got that this year, and it's just been a very big answer to prayers.
Over the past year, God has moved the most in my life by putting people in my life that love the Lord and that love me. For a long time, I struggled with finding people that actually cared about me and cared about my relationship with the Lord in a deeper level than just like Sunday mornings, how are yous? And I never thought that I would fit in a church setting. The past year, God has literally laughed in my face and filled my life with people who love the Lord and who have encouraged me to just continue pursuing my faith.
This past year, I've seen God move in my life in numerous ways, but one particular one was just with the loss of my relationship with my dad. I've come to realize that it's actually brought in my mom and my stepdad and I a lot closer. It feels really nice because although I lost one relationship, I strengthened another one. After everything I've been through and everything I've had to deal with, at the end of the day, I come running back to God. And I know that no matter what my relationships look like, I know that my one with him is most important, and he will always want to have a relationship with me. God has also placed the best group of friends in my life, and I finally feel like I've found my people that God has been pushing me towards.
It really all started like when I first like prayed for that deeper connection. I could like, I don't know, I just felt myself like being more happy and more just like naturally energized and stuff like that. And it really like, I don't know, it just made my life better in like so many different ways.
The most I've seen God move my life this year, I was saved at Pause in the winter, and that was just such a special moment. And it was the first time I really had a huge desire to know Jesus and took my faith personally. And then after I got baptized, I'd say the most I've seen God move in my life is just what I feel is important and where my priorities lie and what I search for in others. And I've just am really blessed to know all the people I've met through Wake and the community it's given me. And I'm just so happy to have a group of girls that constantly push me closer towards Jesus.
I think God has moved the most in my life this year through being the person of the church, outside the church, being kind to everyone, and speaking the gospel to close friends and family. And I think just changing person as a whole, I think God's really changed me over this past year of who I was last year.
I think I've found comfort in who I am. A lot of the time, I get so caught up in my insecurities, and this year, I've found confidence with the Lord and just an eternal perspective on things. I think I've been so seeking after the world and the opinions of other people. And so now with that, walking with Jesus and knowing him personally, I've been able to love myself the way that he loves me.
God has moved in my life over this past year by just getting me more involved in Wake, because my schedule was very packed, and some of the only time I was able to hang out with people was at Wake, and that helped show me that like Wake is my place, Wake is where my people are, and the fellowship that I had with all the people, not really just the seniors, but all people at Wake. I made so many new friends, and I just got deeper rooted in my small group, and it just made me stronger in my faith.
The Lord has moved in my life this past year in very big ways. One of the biggest things is I got to go on a mission trip for spring break. I went to the Dominican Republic, and it was very eye-opening. I got to share the gospel with a bunch of people, and it just really showed me that how many opportunities I get here that I just don't take. I wish I would be more intentional with having gospel conversations with people here, because there's so many lost people, especially like where I go to school.
I came to Wake back in August. I didn't know anybody, and it was a new church for me. And I came here wanting to be healed. I was very hopeless about my future, and I didn't think I had a future. And it wasn't, when I thought about what my life was going to look like, it wasn't in what I envisioned. And so I kept coming to church over and over again, and slowly I realized how loved I was and how accepted I was. And while my depression and my anxiety, it still stayed with me, I found so much support. And I've been given more resources for my mental health and my physical health. And while they've been minor, they have just felt so tremendous, and they've felt so helpful. And I've gained so many personal relationships for people that have helped guide me to God. I've entered a discipleship, and she's taught me so much, and I've gotten so much personal advice, and I've learned so much about how to act for God, and it's just overall supported my relationships. I've gained so much positivity and love, and that's all because of what I've gotten here at Wake.
I've said this a lot, but just stay in the moment and enjoy every part of your high school journey and middle school journey. But I didn't know about Wake until this year, and I wish that I had heard about it earlier, because I've literally had the best time here. So I would say make every moment count and enjoy even the ups and the downs of high school. It's all part of the journey, and just trust God's timing, trust His plan, and know that He's got you, and don't worry about anything.
Don't wish your time away. At Wake, I only started 4 months ago, and I'm so sad that I'm already done. Now I'm already graduating, whatever stage of life you're in, it'll get better. I know life times are hard right now. I went through those times too. We all do. So it's really easy to wish these years away, and then you get to them and it's like, oh, I want to rewind. Just live in the moment. Live in the moment with God. Just soak it all in, and just be in God's presence, and just be with your loved ones. Just tell people that. My big takeaway, I think, from this year is just tell people that you love them, because you don't want to regret that. Just show love. Just show more love.
Some advice I'd leave with the rest of the students at Wake is to definitely get involved. Get involved so much. You'll get so much closer to God. I myself have not been here that long, so I have not gotten as close as I can. But with the time that I have, I've been trying my best.
I would definitely say, find your community, find your people that are going to surround you. High school is going to have its challenges, and it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. However, having those people that love you and will support you and walk through those hard times with you is just so important. And I wish I knew that sooner going into high school, that finding that community is going to be so monumental, and having that foundation of friendships that are centered around Jesus.
Just listen and learn as much as you possibly can in every sermon and every small group, and definitely take notes. If you take notes, it will be a lot more, and you'll have it for forever to look back on.
My advice for the rest of the students at Wake is to not hesitate to jump in full head first to the Lord and to the community that He provides here. It's so much better to be known as the Jesus freak on earth than to not be known at all in heaven. And there's so much joy and fulfillment and just overall peace that comes from truly knowing Him and truly being involved in His people and His cause and His kingdom. So just get fully involved, and don't be ashamed and don't be embarrassed, and jump full head first in.
The advice that I would like to leave with you guys is that you guys really just need to prioritize investing your time in the Bible and in the Word, and just getting to know God on a deeper level, and just spend your quiet time alone with the Lord, and just truly build your relationship with Him. I recommend getting involved in volunteer opportunities, whether it's through Stone Creek Kids or any other area within the church. and even volunteering for city serves or any other event put on by the church that you can serve at and volunteer. Let's focus on making disciples and spreading the word of God. Just invite, and just continue to reach out to those who haven't yet developed a relationship with God and just extend invitations. I believe that our generation has the power to make a significant difference, and it will be left up to you all to lead this movement.
You really just have to like find like your community, like a group of people that are gonna be around you that are good for you and aren't gonna lead you into bad ways.
Life has its ups and downs, and just continue to trust that God is going to be with you through all of those moments, and know that this is a safe place, a place you can be yourself. There is a message, and there is something that's going to be said one day that's going to resonate with you differently, and you're going to feel that, and just know that God loves you, and keep your heart open to those around you, and never judge the people around you by what they may appear on the outside.
I would say to the rest of the people at Wake, what advice would I give them as a senior? I would say that don't let people judge you when you're coming to Wake and in your faith. I say I think everyone should be born in their faith and not let people judge you and define you of who you are, but only God can made you who you are.
I would say to all the other Wake students to soak up every moment and just be present while you're there. Recognize that you're with these people for only a short amount of time, and it's a blessing. And don't wish the time away just because you want to be out of high school faster or middle school or whatever it is. Because I get it, it's hard, but be in the moment and love on people well. And yeah, just don't wish it away because you'll never get it back.
My advice for the rest of the students at Wake is to just lock in and don't feel discouraged if you don't have a group of people on the first day of Wake. Get to know people, talk to people, branch out, get out of your comfort zone, and get to know more people, talk to new friends, just get deeper rooted in your small group, be vulnerable. That helps you to show people that you're ready to like take the next step with them, like you trust them with everything, and they're more able to help guide you through those problems or celebrations, and it just helps you to move further.
The biggest thing that's had a huge influence on me is just like learning to be obedient to God and what he's asking me to do. So just like pray about what the Lord is calling you to do. And when you hear him asking you to leave a friendship, that's really hard. Be obedient to like what he's asking you to do. And also like having an accountability partner is really big because going through high school, it's so hard to get, or it's so easy to get caught up in life and the party scene and just everything that's going on outside of Jesus' plan. And there's going to be so many influences that lead you away from your faith. So having an accountability partner really helps you dive in and read your Bible every day and just everything that you desire with the Lord. So that is super important, I think.
My best piece of advice for students at Wake is to learn and understand the phrase, hurt people, hurt other people. Once I've learned to accept what this phrase is and what it means, I've been able to not be hurt by how other people enact and what other people say to me and love them unconditionally because I know that it's not, most of the time, it's not from a place of maliciousness and to be evil. Most of the time, it's because they're deeply hurting inside. And once you learn that, then you just live such a happier life in such a lighter life and in the way that Jesus walked.
This is my yearbook.
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 This is my yearbook.